My area of research is silent film comedy, but basically the work of Charlie Chaplin and his brother Sidney Chaplin. I decided to look at him as a sort of figure for the modernist era. And turns out he wrote some things, so I was able to actually use some very eccentric texts that he wrote and compare them to people like Gertrude Stein and T.S. Eliot. So that all came into my dissertation, which was on Chaplin's travel narratives. He's very much a reviser, and if you know how his films were made, you know that he took rolls and rolls and rolls of film in order to get the exact shot that he wanted. And that's exactly what he does with his writings. He liked to refer to himself as a humanist and a man of the people. Charlie's relevant because kind of like Mark Twain, you know how Mark Twain just kind of never goes away because everything he said back in the late 19th century is prescient. It still makes sense today in terms of what's going on politically. Same with Chaplin. You can watch his films today, and even though they're silent, they still are telling that story of every worker that ever lived. The plight of the worker, the feeling that you get when you can't win the girl. Chaplin's film City Lights from 1931 is a perfect indication of that. No matter what he did in that film, it didn't work out. So there's a lot to connect with in his films. Sidney Chaplin, who I wrote a biography on, was a very interesting fellow. Sidney was always a street kid in everything that he thought about and everything that he did. He was constantly trying to make that dime under the table somehow, and got Charlie into a lot of trouble with tax evasion and other things. That was all Sid. And he also started United Artists. United Artists is the company that saved the careers of all actors in 1919 because the film companies wanted to take away their right to barter for salaries. So we would not have had the Hollywood star system if it hadn't been for United Artists. And that was Sidney's idea. My teaching philosophy is that the classroom is a student-centered classroom. That you have to somehow appeal to and demand your students to take part and to be as engaged with the information or the work as you are. I don't believe in standing in front of the class and lecturing, trying to push information into students. They have to come to class and participate in what we're doing. I realize that the students have just as much to say about how to analyze things, and they often come up with things I've never thought about. So they're just as good as I am sometimes at seeing things that should be seen in literary analysis. 2 years ago now, 2014, was the 100th anniversary of Chaplin's Little Tramp character. I took part in the 100th anniversary celebration in Bologna, Italy, where Chaplin's archive is now housed. And we invited, in fact I was on the organizing committee for that, and we invited scholars from all over the world. Ohio University Zanesville has given me a lot of opportunities. In 2010, for instance, I was able to put on an international Charlie Chaplin conference on this campus. I had people from 11 countries outside the United States, and it was a combination of not just scholars but also rank-and-file Chaplin enthusiasts. And it was really kind of an inspired time because it is the first conference in America on that topic. So where else could I have done that? I mean, Ohio University Zanesville certainly supported me in that effort.